Guess who's back, 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 back again, again. Iron's back, 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 back again. Oh, what's up, everybody? Today's date, December 12th, 2024. So something I wanted to address that got brought to my attention. I've been down this road half my life, and I knew it was only a matter of time. So I've been told that because of my views and my political rants and the content that I've been bringing here is deterring people from coming to my studio. And I knew it was only a matter of time before I got this sort of feedback. I just wanted to address it real quick. First things first, I am not sorry, and I will not apologize for hurting your feelings. This isn't why I do this work. I will not be deterred. I will not stop. I'm going to keep going. And that's that. I'm on a mission from the gods. And I can't be threatened, especially threatened. And I'm firm in my stance. That's it. I have been doing this half my life, if not longer. And I've dedicated my life to trying to find my higher self and higher purpose. And one person said, you're a yoga instructor. You're a business owner. You can't be talking like that. You can't be thinking like that. Oh, well, here we are. This is how I think. This is how I roll. This is what got me onto the spiritual path. And this journey, this is what encouraged me to help open up my business, to help people find their higher self. And to kind of go along with that, some people are like, what's that got to do with yoga? Well, it's got everything to do with yoga. Yoga is about finding peace and harmony in our bodies and finding our higher self, at least it is in my book. And to do so, you need to be aware of the information that's being fed to you. You need to be aware of all things that we consume, whether it's food, music, culture, our opinions from others. All these things come into play. So, as I said, I'm not going to apologize. I'm going to continue going. You can't threaten me. And if you're that kind of person who would take business away from somebody because of their political ideology, then so be it. I don't want these kind of people around me anyway. I don't judge. I don't particularly care what party affiliation, your race, your creed, your beliefs. In fact, I'm here to talk to everybody about all this stuff. If I try to stay right down the middle as possible, no biasness, no nothing. I am literally just telling you what I find and conveying it back to you. Because if anything, I feel like I've been ahead of the curve over 10 years. For example, the FDA is now banning red food dye. Like, dude, you know how long I've been telling people about this? And that's why I changed my diet. I wasn't waiting for the government to step in and being like, oh, no, we'll protect you. No, absolutely not. You find the information and then you do what you will with it. For me, it shaped everything it shaped my whole path as far as my dieting, my exercise, all these things was because of the information that I got, or I read, or I researched, what have you. So if that bothers you and that upsets you, so be it. I don't care. You're not going to deter me through monetary incentives. If someone offered me $1 million saying, hey, can you just tone it down, keep your mouth shut? No, absolutely not. I am not doing this for the money. I could care less. So with that said, I am not stopping. That's it. I'm going to just keep going and doing what I feel is right. And that's that. So if you don't want to support me, that's fine. Others will. The people who want to hear it, the people who understand with the work that I do here will support me. And we have our supporters. And it's just going to grow regardless. So you can do whatever you want. That's fine. I personally don't care. I want to see everybody thriving and living good and feeling good and being healthy. But if you are going to judge me for the information that I bring, then so be it. C'est la vie. I'm not a people pleaser. I'm not here to spare people's feelings. So that's that. That's my rant. And just look away, okay? Don't show up. That's fine. Totally fine. Like I said, others will. With that said, all right, let's get right into the news. We're still firing ATAC missiles from Ukraine into Russia, which, like I said, like, what the hell is going on here? These are your tax dollars, and this is your future that they're trying to destroy. They're continuing to ramp up wars, and they're failing on that front completely failing. No matter how much efforts, no matter how many kids they round up or young adults to fight their war, the spirit's broken. It's done. So I don't care how many billions more dollars you spend or send to them, it's lost. And here's just a couple clips to kind of show you kind of really what's going on over there. I feel like it's important to understand what side you're on, and or even if you're not for it, this is your handlers. This is your masters sending your money, your future over to an absolute lost cause. And it goes a lot deeper than that. There's so much human trafficking going on over there and money laundering that I'm not going to completely get into that, maybe on another one. But right now, I just want to show you a couple clips into what's kind of going on over there. Here we go. And it doesn't stop. They don't even have a month left in office, and they're still trying to send, I think the last I heard was $50 billion. We got some pushback from other people who are on the side of the rebellion. They're saying that they're not allowing it, but I don't know where it stands as of today. But the last I heard, they were trying to send another $50 billion to them.
Last week, Biden administration requested to attach to upcoming CR additional aid to Ukraine, $24 billion. Are you planning to do that? What is your position?
I'm not planning to do that. There are developments by the hour in Ukraine. I think, as we predicted, and as I said to all of you, weeks before the election, if Donald Trump is elected, it will change the dynamic of the Russia war on Ukraine. And we're seeing that happen. So it is not the place of Joe Biden to make that decision now. We have a newly elected president, and we're going to wait and take the new commander-in-chief's direction on all of that. So I don't expect any Ukraine funding to come up now.
And at what end? What end? Like I said, this is a war that's already been lost. And it's not only an unconstitutional war, but it's inhumane. People are dying. I just don't understand. And to kind of go into what I was just saying earlier, don't you care about that? No? Whatever. For me, this is the work I do. I care. I want to see everybody on this planet living free and prosperous. So anyway, here you go. This is the facts. This is what's going on over there.
And we begin today with brand new revelations as both the United States and the United Kingdom are considering dropping the terrorist designation for the main rebel group responsible for overthrowing the Syrian government. Of course they are. Why would they do that? Well, could it be because the so-called terror group that just overthrew Assad, just like ISIS in the past and al-Nusra, which is al-Qaeda in Syria, are trained, armed, and funded by the US, the UK, and Israel? Yes, spoiler alert, wake up. Yes, they are. But it gets even better. Reports show that Ukraine recently sent 150 drones and 20 drone operators to assist these Syrian rebels. Ukraine, the country that we have sent $250 billion to because they're facing an existential threat from who? From Russia, who's going to wipe them off the face of the earth. So we've had to send them our treasure. They are fighting for their very lives, we're told, and yet somehow they have the capacity and the ability and the latitude to send drones and drone operators into Syria. Are you kidding me? This is absolutely insane. And the whole purpose is to overthrow the Assad government. How is that a priority for Zelensky? And how is that a priority for the people of Ukraine? It certainly is not. How do you know if a country is fighting for its survival and its life? You send them $150 billion or $250 billion worth of weapons and landmines and drones. And if they don't use it to fight for their own freedom and instead send it to another country to topple another government, they weren't really facing an existential threat. That's the truth of this story. So now Israel is also getting involved. Washington's biggest ally is now advancing troops further into the country of Syria. And guys, look at this video here, showing how they completely left Syria's navy absolutely decimated on Tuesday after a battle again in Syria. And now the rebel leader in Syria, interestingly, says he doesn't want a conflict with Israel. Isn't that convenient? So what's happening here? Well, the collapse of Syria directly undermines Russia, Syria's key ally and Washington's main opposition. Also, we have to mention that Russian troops are now pushing deeper into Ukraine. No one's talking about this in the media, and the war there seems increasingly like a lost cause. So when you're losing the war in Ukraine and you know it's almost over, what do? Start a war someplace else. New reports suggest that Western leaders are now pressuring Ukrainian President Zelensky to issue a mass mobilization order, though, to counter the Russians. Boys and men as young as 18 years old could be rounded up and forced to the front lines. We've seen it happen before in Ukraine. It's about to happen again. But this isn't just about Syria or Ukraine. It's about the power plays happening in plain sight, the billions of dollars and countless human lives that are being destroyed as a result. It is the reason that incoming FBI Director Kash Patel says as soon as he takes office, he's going to launch an investigation into Zelensky. Listen.
I've asked this Congress to investigate where has this money gone. The American people are owed that answer because it's our money. It's our taxpayer dollars.
So a lot of people are under the assumption that there's terrorists around the world, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and a lot of people don't know that those are our guys. We support them. We funded them, trained them, as Ben Swan just said. And this in itself is literally like, what? Are you serious? So it goes back to, like, what are we feeding ourselves? What side are we on? And how are you supposed to even know what side you're on if you're not getting any of the real information? I used to talk about this a long time ago. And, yeah, conspiracy nut, just like the food, telling people about the dyes and everything. And, conspiracy nut. But kind of a little bit ahead of the curve, I think, and I've been bringing this information to people for a very long time, and it's just pure, straight-up corruption. So we're sending money to Ukraine for them to overthrow other governments, to help overthrow other governments. Like, is there any outrage? Like, you should ask yourself, why don't you care about this? This is insane, pure corruption. But this is nothing new under the sun. This is the same old song and dance that have been happening for a very long time. But I think you should just become aware personally as to what's going on over there. A lot of people have opinions on it. A lot of people are supporting that. They still fly their Ukraine flag, this and that. Wow. Pure corruption. And I'm not judging. Like I said, I understand because a lot of people are just not getting the real information. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. So we essentially overthrew Assad in Syria, which was someone who actually kept balance. He was a liked president. We've been at war. We've wanted that chess piece for a long time. It was crucial in the Israeli takeover over there. And once again, I won't get into too much of that because that's just like a whole nother podcast. That's a whole nother topic and discussion. But Netanyahu is an absolute demon. He needs to go. The war in Gaza and what they're doing to those people is absolutely atrocious. Totally atrocious. But we, look away, blinders. No, that's okay to do that over there. Total war criminals. But I digress. And people have asked, why do I support Putin? It's not that I support Putin. You got to understand his stance. We were putting missiles in his backyard, and we wouldn't allow this. We wouldn't allow China to build a base in Mexico and literally point their missiles right at us, we would invade that base in an hour. We'd be over there. We would not have that. And that's essentially what really this all came down to, was he was just like, please don't put missiles in my backyard and point them at me. That's practically an act of war. And, well, I understand. I get it. I don't understand why others don't, or it's not reported on it. But when it when it is reported on, the media just straight up lies to you, straight to your face.
Putin actually sent a draft treaty that he wanted NATO to sign to promise no more NATO enlargement. That was what he sent us. And that was a precondition for not invade Ukraine. Of course, we didn't sign that. So he went to war to prevent more NATO close to his borders.
Flashback.
This is fundamentally not about NATO expansion.
It was never about NATO enlargement. It's not about NATO.
It's not about NATO expanding toward Russia.
This was never about NATO.
It's absolutely nothing to do with NATO expansionism.
And it has nothing to do with NATO.
This is not about NATO.
It's not about NATO.
It's not about NATO expansion. This is about the democratic expansion.
Ukraine bans religious organizations.
We are protecting democracy right now.
Ukraine is banning political parties.
Because it's a democracy.
Ukraine restricts books and music.
It's about democracy.
Ukraine won't hold elections.
It's about democracy.
And it's not about NATO expansion.
Because obviously Russia has wished for a sphere of influence over Ukraine. But if the West had not challenged Russian interests so directly, I think that there was a chance to avoid.
Corrupt machine. There's no other words. It's just straight up lying, gaslighting, feeding you false information. So watch what you put into your mind and listen to and base your opinions on, that you're so strongly rooted in that you would not support a small business because, well, he supports the bad guys. And no. Same thing as Zelensky. He's an absolute war criminal. They're literally killing civilians over there. And the ones that are actually the pro-Russians, if you're pro-Russian, they'll kill you. They'll absolutely kill you.
They executed civilians. Just dumb killing.
How?
With assault rifles.
No. Why?
Revenge. We're pro-Russians to them. Hatred. I don't know what drugs they were on, but they were out of their minds. A neighbor ran to me and told me, Yulia, they killed your husband. Right by our house. They shot him and 2 neighbors. We buried them ourselves in the yard. Local men helped me.
Who did it?
Ukrainian soldiers did it when they were running away. The Russians had entered the city. The Ukrainians ran and killed everyone they came across. My husband was outside the apartment block entrance when the Ukrainian soldiers came across him. They riddled everything with bullets.
And if you're of fighting age, they're rounding you up. They're literally rounding up the remaining young people over there to fight their disgraceful, unconstitutional war. It's so corrupt. It's absolutely corrupt. The will of the people over in Ukraine is completely broken. Soldiers are giving themselves up purposely to Russian soldiers because they don't believe in this. They don't want this. Why would they? Why would they want to go to war? Over what? Over a corrupt president? Yeah. They know what's up. And all sorts of stories are coming out about that. And here, take a look.
First and foremost problem for Ukraine is lack of motivated manpower, soldiers who want to fight, who are able to fight. According to everyone from Kiev to Western publications, Western officials, Ukraine's army is now predominantly made up of men grabbed off the streets, men who've gone through a week or 2 through boot camp and end up on the front line where they don't want to be. This isn't the fight that they want to fight. They want to get out. They want to leave. And that is the issue all over Ukraine, that there's few men left to grab off the street and chuck into the trenches on the front lines. The ire of the Ukrainian public is turning on military recruiters in that video. This would be a mother whose son had just been grabbed, voicing her displeasure, letting fists fly against a man that she believes is responsible. For many Ukrainians, for most Ukrainian soldiers, those picked up off the streets, bussified, as they say, the slang term in Ukraine, chucked into a bus. For most of them, it is a one-way ticket to the front lines. The vast majority do not return, and those that do are most often maimed. Nevertheless, it is with a dose of cynicism that Ukrainian officials come out and say that, you know what, there's no getting away for you or for your son, for your husband, for your brother. Everyone must fight.
Someone
thinks that they can pay them off with 5-10,000 or leave or swim across the Tisa. This should not be the case. Everyone to the front.
So the war is lost in my book, but we keep pumping money into it. Literally, your money, your future, your fate, especially if they plunge us into a nuclear war, which we are right there, you know. A lot of people don't want to believe that. They think that's inaccurate, I guess, or what have you, but we're closer to nuclear war than we've ever have been. And we are escalating it, all because, well, Trump will put an end to it. Or at least I'm pretty certain he will. We'll see. Time's going to tell, unless we don't make it that far, but that's where I casted my vote, so we'll see. I hope I'm right about that, and I think they wouldn't be doing what they're doing if I wasn't, so time will tell.
Commissioner Chair, ladies and gentlemen, I have a question for you, only one question. How far do you think this escalation will go? What is the logical end of ramping up the so-called military help to Ukraine? After every escalation, on our part, Russian escalation follows. You provide more weapons. Russia invites soldiers from North Korea. You allow Ukraine to shoot into the Russian territory. Russia does the same. According to some sources, they've even used intercontinental ballistic missiles. What is the next step? Are you blind? Don't you see that you're bringing us to the brink of the nuclear warfare? Who are citizens for you? Are they just chess pieces? Wake up, this is no longer a chess game. This is about the lives of children, men and women. Stop playing with them only to bring Russia down. We are on the crossroads. Either ceasefire or nuclear holocaust. At least once in life. Move us forward in the right direction for once.
And with that said, we're pumping money into a absolute lost cause, lost war, and here we have North Carolina still literally under rubble as we head into winter. It's an absolute shame. So take a listen to, and I've actually said that in my other podcast that I just imagined the National Guard was there and all hands on deck. But apparently, I was actually wrong on that. So here, take a listen.
So guys, Kim has been volunteering up here all week in different spots, Bakersville, Burnsville, Spruce Pine, you name it, she's been here. We didn't want to put any of this on YouTube, but I've been traveling this week and the rest of the world doesn't know about what's going on in North Carolina. Can you tell a little bit about what's going on since you've been here?
So my name's Suzanne. We actually live a half a mile from here. We live there, that's our business. It got completely washed away by the flood. We evacuated to this school, which is where we've been living for the last 9 days. And we've been just volunteering with our fire department because this is kind of like our home turf, and this has turned into a supply center. Everyone keeps saying that FEMA's here, the National Guard is here. No one has been here. All these roads through here are cleared because local people cleared them. Local people that had tractors, excavators, anything. And then they called in their friends that had resources throughout the state. All the Swiftwater teams, none of that's been government. It's been other states sending their teams down, like New Hampshire and Delaware.
Florida.
It's all volunteers. It's all either little fire departments or, you know, little first responder services like that. It's no government help. One day we had 6 National Guardsmen here for 4 hours. That was it. And they helped sort in here. That was all. It's all locals, local resources. It's all civilians.
And it's unreal.
Yeah.
Just unreal.
So we got Americans who can barely make ends meet, and we can barely afford housing and food, which, by the way, I have a great clip on Tucker Carlson when he was in Russia just literally a week ago. He went to the supermarket and he bought groceries over there, and it just kind of shows you life's pretty good over there. Life ain't bad, and Putin is such a monster. Yeah, well, he's making life pretty good for his people. They can afford food, and as he says in the video, well, when I show it to you, you should be outraged. You should be radicalized that this is being allowed here in America.
So a long-standing feature, maybe the longest-standing feature of Cold War propaganda in the West was the Soviet grocery store. No products, no choices, shoddily made things. And it wasn't actually propaganda, it was real. And you can look up the pictures on the internet if you want. So we thought it would be interesting to take a look at a contemporary, modern day, 2024 Russian grocery store 2 years into sanctions. Here we go. All right, there we go. So I guess you put in 10 rubles here and you get it back when you put the cart back. So it's free, but there's an incentive to return it and not just bring it to your homeless encampment. Okay, this is the grocery cart escalator. This is designed, I'm figuring this out now, where the wheels don't move, they lock on the grocery cart escalator. Look, Ma, no hands. Retail placement here is a little bit different. So it's like walking through Macy's to get to Whole Foods. Okay, we've gotten through the perfume section to get to the grocery store. So we're gonna try and buy what a family of 4 would buy every week, and we're gonna see what the selection is, and we're gonna see what it costs. Now, Russia is famous for its bread, which is one thing I can assess pretty well. The low-carb lifestyle has not swept Russia. Thank heaven, because I mean, look at that. It's fresh, too. Look at that. Oh, come on. Unicorn and mini mills. All right. Some kind of Russian wheat cookies. Ooh, we need coffee, don't we? Yeah. I don't know if this is sugar or flour, to be honest with you, but it looks like a staple, so we should get it. It's a very good looking package. It's got to be flour, right? And this is Russian wine. It's from Crimea, which not only has the warm water naval base, but also is the source of most of the grapes in this part of Russia for wine. So it's apparently pretty good. Cheese puffs. You check out of a grocery store and you've got gum, razor blades, and candy. Actually, they hide the razor blades because we steal them. But these are all seem to be Western products. Mars, Twix, Snickers, Milky Way, Bounty, Gillette, Paul's Cough Drops, Mentos. Looks pretty non-sanctioned to me, but what do I know? I went from amused to legitimately angry. So we were guessing what this would cost. Everybody here is from the United States, buys groceries, and we didn't pay any attention to costs as we were just putting in the cart what we would actually eat over a week. And we all came in around $400, about $400. It was $104 US here. And that's when you start to realize that ideology maybe doesn't matter as much as you thought, corruption. If you take people's standard of living and you tank it through filth and crime and inflation, and they literally can't buy the groceries they want, at that point, maybe it matters less what you say or whether you're a good person or a bad person. You're wrecking people's lives in their country, and that's what our leaders have done to us. And coming to a Russian grocery store, the heart of evil, and seeing what things cost and how people live, it will radicalize you against our leaders. That's how I feel anyway, radicalized. We're not making any of this up, by the way, at all.
I'm just trying to show you the corruption in the political system. This is the empire that George Lucas spoke of in Star Wars. It's an absolute machine that is designed to keep you not only weak, broke, ignorant, and sick. The Matrix is absolutely real. Absolutely real. And if you don't know these things, how are you going to escape it? How do you expect to get out if you don't know that as innocent as going to the store and buying the wrong things is making you sick? Well, that's where I come in, and I want to bring this information to the people because it's time we take our power back. That's the business that I'm in, is taking our power back as an individual, what you can do. You don't have to wait for the government to save you, for a politician. No, you save yourself. And you do that by not being ignorant, to open your eyes and to see what's gone on and what you've been doing to yourself and maybe possibly your parents and your children. When does it stop? Where does it stop? It has to stop with you. It's your choices that you make. You vote with your body, with your money, with your time. So be mindful of that. And you should consider all these things. And if I'm the enemy for bringing this to you, well, so be it. It's all good. Moving forward. Just to show a little bit more of the corruption, Hunter Biden got pardoned. And I was telling you this prior that, this was a huge story. They pardoned him up to, I think, 11 years back.
This pardon means that all the way back to 2014, any previous crimes, he can't be adjudicated for. So this not only clears Biden, it clears Hunter Biden, it clears Biden. So this is to protect all that corruption, right? And so here you go. But, the hypocrisy, the sanctimonious way Karine at those White House press briefings would say, no, he's not going to, when all the time they knew very well. And, I can tell you from personal experience, working for Biden, he honestly believes that there's the law for everyone else and the law for him. And this is an example, Rory, of the two-tiered justice system right here.
Pure guilt right there. I mean, how do you say you're guilty without saying you're guilty? And it just goes to show you, when you're the president, you do have power. You're above the law, and you can do whatever the hell you want. So gross. So gross. I hope this gets completely redacted at some point, because if you were to understand some of the trade deals he was involved in Ukraine and some of the other activities that he is involved in, well, you'd understand my resolve on this. But yeah, who didn't see this coming though? Everybody. Everybody's seen this coming. We knew. At least the truth movement knew for sure how blatantly corrupt they are. Here's a quick clip of this is just one one politician who it just goes to show how wealthy she has become over the time. So this is a cool little compilation that this guy put together. Take a look.
All right. 1987, 160K. 1995, almost a milli. Almost a milli. We just got to past 2000, exploded to 9 million. Whoa, 08? She crushed it in the 08 crisis, almost 30 milli. A year later, 10 more mil, we're at 39. 2 years later, up to 47. Yo, this girl, she hit her trading stride. 59 million, 14. Wow. Whoa. 68 in 2016. 79 mil in 2018. How is she growing it this fast? 2019, 86 mil. 2020, almost 100 milli. Oh, just another 21% return by 2022. Oh, nope, even more. Now she's worth 100. How? The best to ever do it.
So how did she build her wealth? Insider trading and probably many other incentives to make sure she stays in power and votes a certain way. This is pure corruption. This needs to be outlawed. But who am I, right? What do I know? Moving forward. A lot of people haven't seen this video. I have discussed it with some people and they totally didn't believe me. They were like, nah, it's not true. But look what we have done to the food. And make no mistake, this isn't for the people who are vaccinated. No, if they're already vaccinated, then we're good. This is for the people who aren't vaccinated. And it just goes to show how devious they are and how they work. It's so crazy. It's crazy. Check this out.
Chicago's manufacturing facility looks like a nursery, but inside these plants, they're growing a new kind of vaccine. The technology is called a virus-like particle.
At Medicago, we use a careful step-by-step process to develop vaccines, using our plants as mini bioreactors. We start with the gene sequence, or code of a virus. We then use our technology to synthesize the virus code into a real biological product. The code contains genetic instructions that our plants can read, and we insert it into bacteria called Agrobacterium tumefaciens. We submerge the plants in a bath with the bacteria that carries the information into the plant cells. And using a vacuum, we suck out the air between the plant cells and replace it with the liquid. The plants absorb it like a sponge. At the end of their bacterial bath, we return our plants to a carefully controlled greenhouse to let them get on with their natural growing business for at least 4 days. Now the plants will start producing the most important ingredient of our vaccines, virus-like particles.
So vaccines in the plants. They've already perfected the technology to even put it into a cigarette, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look for that video, but they have been playing God for a long time. They've been playing with the food. And what does that do? That plays with your DNA. And, like, who are they? Who are these demons? They're demons. They're reptilian, interdimensional demons. Yeah, once again, if you don't know this stuff, then you might just end up being vaccinated not by your will. You know, someday we're going to look back on this and, you know, not for nothing, your kids or your grandchildren are going to be like, where were you? What did you do to help prevent this or to stop this? And that'll be up to you to figure out what kind of answer you're going to give them, if you even care. But I'm certain they're going to care because their health, their future are on the line. So, yeah, that's on... that will be on you. Yeah, it's crazy. It's freaking crazy. Crazy times. Crazy times. I step away for just a week and so much is going on. So much has happened. I can't even keep up with it, but I'm trying. I really am. They have also been threatening the new administration. And, you know, these ain't kids that are just like calling in fake pranks or anything like that. This is what's really going on, like with a lot of the picks, including himself, Trump, that there's death threats happening and or else threats that are taking place. And this is right on the news, so I'll let you take a quick look at that.
Emily, this is a potential national security problem, so we have reached out to the National Security Council at the White House to find out what they are tracking. We will bring you their answer once we have one. We have also been in touch with some officials down with the transition team at Mar-a-Lago. They are not willing to go any further at this time than this statement. We made a graphic so you can follow along. Last night and this morning, several of President Trump's cabinet nominees and administration appointees were targeted in violent, un-American threats to their lives and those who live with them. These attacks ranged from bomb threats to swatting. In response, law enforcement and other authorities acted quickly to ensure the safety of those who were targeted. President Trump and the entire transition team are grateful for their swift action. And just as we were coming to air, we learned who at least one of these Trump appointees, or rather Trump nominees, who received one of these threats last night. It was Elise Stefanik, who President Trump wants confirmed by the Senate to be the ambassador to the United Nations. She says, in part, in a statement this morning, her office says, this morning, Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, her husband, and their 3-year-old son were driving home to Saratoga County from Washington for Thanksgiving when they were informed of a bomb threat to their residence. She goes on to describe a pretty robust response. And we were also told that this is Fox News Digital, that the director of the CIA nominee, John Ratcliffe, and Pete Hegseth, the DOD nominee, were among those targeted too. Keep in mind, these are all private citizens right now who are up for big jobs in the future. And once somebody takes over the Defense Department, say, they would have Pentagon police. Once somebody takes over the CIA, they would have CIA police. But right now, they are private citizens living in their homes preparing for confirmation hearings. So they don't have security details per se to deal with something like a swatting incident where the police show up because of an erroneous, with guns drawn potentially because of an erroneous tip that there is some kind of violent action happening. So we will bring you more names as we have them, as well as the White House response as we have it. President Biden is vacationing in Nantucket at the moment. We don't know if he has been briefed yet.
So they're not going to just let them walk into power, not without starting World War III. Once again, they do not want to relinquish their power in the shadow government. The globalists have been at it for a long time. They have a firm grip, and they're gonna fight tooth and nail. This is why I've been saying there's going to be events, something's going to happen, and I hope it's nothing that I can't foresee, but it seems like everything's right there laid out on the table now, that they're not holding back. They're starting more wars. They're overthrowing governments. They're trying to start war with Russia. They are milking us to death. They are literally sucking us dry, and people are just going along for it. They're just with it. They're like, yeah, I don't care. I'll pay $500,000 for a shit house in, wherever. It's insane. It's really insane. I hope this incoming administration truly, it's got the potential. It's got the potential to change the world and to get us back on track. I really hope to see that, because I just don't see a very good future here going on. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. I'm certain that'll upset some people. Yeah, okay. But yeah, make no mistake, they're not going to just allow them to walk into power. And it's up to us to stay vigilant and to keep reporting on it and to just basically do our part. And I've said that many times, and I'll continue to say it. Here's a quick rant of, I forgot his name, who's basically an echo chamber of what a lot of people have been saying. And it's just things that people just don't want to hear, and it's extremely important to shed light on these topics, because this is where the power lies, in child trafficking and massive underground shadow government movement of funds, your money, your funds, and or whatever, our futures. And I say that because they print money, they're inflating the money, thus making you poorer and broker, and it's got to end. So yeah, just take a quick listen to this.
Your current system has 85,000 kids they can't find. What in the world? It's the New York Times. It's not Fox News. And we're sitting here talking about a fiction of saying there's an infant rolling through somewhere outside of Eagle Pass right now, begging to claim asylum. The infant is not doing that. This is absurd. You know it's absurd. We have language here put forward in good faith, trying to figure out how to stop what I see in this chart behind me, where unaccompanied children are spiking through the roof, have been doing so since Democrats have been in charge of the administration. The only blip is when you had a Republican in charge. You had kids on top of train cars getting abused by cartels. You got numbers spiking through the roof since President Biden has been in office. And all we want to simply do is say, we want to get them home to their families. We want to get them to a place where they can go to a port of entry so we can take care of them. And we're being traded by my colleagues on the other side of the aisle with where are the 1,000 that aren't being reunified? Well, go find the 85,000 that we don't even know where the hell they are under the Biden administration. I yield back.
And that's just it. I get it. Nobody wants to hear it. I understand. It's just so much easier to turn on Netflix and to watch a movie and play and watch sports. Yes, watch the sports. Yes, bread and circus. It's so much easier to just turn a blind eye and just get lulled into this nice half-sleep state. Not for me. I'm sorry. That just doesn't do it for me. I have to keep hammering the nail. I'm just going to keep pounding away. It's just, it's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. And it's up to us to change the course of history. That's how I feel. That's just me. And I think that's what I feel like I'm doing here. I'm helping change the course of history. I know what team I'm on. Here's another quick clip of something that I read and heard about a long time ago, that the Amish community doesn't suffer from nearly as many illnesses as the regular populace does today. And, well, I wonder why. I wonder, wow, like, what is it? Are they just a special race of people? Are they a special breed? What's going on? Just use your head, use your mind. Listen to this clip.
How many children or people are totally unvaccinated? Is that where do you find? Is it just the parents that stepped up and said? I would think that's a very small percentage because so many of us blindly followed, the recommendations to vaccinate children.
Yeah, it's less than 1% of the public. So the Amish are a perfect example of a large group of people who are largely unvaccinated. And there's we can't find an autistic kid who was unvaccinated. It's very, very rare. In the Amish community, very, very rare. You won't find kids with ADD, with autoimmune disease, with panda pans, with epilepsy. You just don't find any of these chronic diseases in the Amish. And the U.S. government has been studying the Amish for decades, but there's never been a report out to the public. The reason, of course, is it would show that, if you don't follow our guidelines, you're going to end up healthier. That's why there's no report after decades of studying the Amish. There's no report because the report would be devastating to the narrative. It would show that the CDC has been harming the public for decades and saying nothing and burying all the data.
So a lot of these reports and a lot of these studies have been done with your money, but have never been released to the public because it completely undermines their agenda, everything, the matrix. And they can't have that. They will not stay in power if the matrix doesn't exist, if the corruption doesn't exist. So imagine, why are they withholding this stuff from you? Why is it so important to keep you ignorant? Yep. Let's go RFK. Rip this apart. I can't wait, because this is a topic that I've been on, that I've railed on for a very long time. I used to work in healthcare, and I seen firsthand what they were doing to people. We were the guinea pigs, and the agenda got rolled out years before, and I seen how people reacted and responded and gave in to vaccines, and it was an eye-opener for me. I was like, oh, this is dangerous. This is so dangerous. But yeah, I hope RFK just literally blows this thing out of the water. I think we're causing 10 20, 100 times more damage than what we think we're preventing. And I'll tell you right now, straight up, if I'm ever blessed with having children, then there will be no vaccination whatsoever. They will be completely unvaccinated. Proudly, so proudly. And something tells me that they will be extremely healthy. I hope I don't ever have to eat my words, but we'll see. I'm sure that one's going to piss a lot of people off. I'm unapologetic, though. I don't care. I've had it. I've literally had it. So, yep, I'm just going to keep railing on that, and I'm going to keep talking about it and keep bringing it to light. And, well, we'll see. Let time be our adversary, they say, I think. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. The media industrial complex will forever hide these things. They will never report on that. And, well, with that said, listen to what this guy was all upset, especially about Elon Musk. Thank you, Elon Musk, for practically saving the world. And I know that sounds a little far-fetched, but the power of information, the power of free speech, the power of press, it's monumental. That's why it is our First Amendment of the Republic. Yes, it's that important. That's why it was the First Amendment. Get it? I hope so. I'll just, I'll keep reminding you. How about that? But listen to this guy. He is so upset that we're taking our power back. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. Take a listen.
Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media. You are the media. My message to Elon Musk is bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like that's nonsense. Like being a reporter's hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all, I've got to say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do.
So yeah, Elon said that. Elon definitely said that. We are the media, and that's absolutely correct. This guy's a genius. And with that said, like, are you going to refute this, or are you going to debate this? Whatever. I don't care. Full-blown correct that we are the media. The future is in our hands. It's up to us. And it's just funny how that guy was like, you have to care. Like, holy cow. Like, yeah, you have to care about what? Oh my God. That's really open-ended. Maybe care about yourself. Maybe, yeah, I don't even have the words for it. You got to be a full-blown narcissist, I guess, or what have you. You got to be an animal for sure, to go up there and lie and deceit just for your personal gains. And I guess really what it comes down to is you got to have absolutely no soul. No soul. And that's a shame. That's a shame. And that's something else I've said for a while, is they own everything now. They own everything. Everything's already, the land, they own your body, they own your mind, they own your future. What's left? They want to own your soul. That's really what it comes down to. Very nefarious and satanic, if you believe in that stuff. But they want to own your soul. Mm-hmm. Essentially, if you want to be part of the media, the legacy media anyway, you have to be pretty much a pathological liar, a pure deceiver, a pure puppet, and with just no soul and don't care anything about the future or your kids or the kids' future or anything. Like Whoopi Goldberg's a freaking reporter, right? Or it's like, dude, yeah. And that's the funny thing is this: she's got a lot of followers. She's all those hens on the View. They're just doing a job for monetary purposes, right? A lot of people would. I get it, but they have no soul. They have absolutely no soul. But if this keeps going like this, yeah, maybe I will become a full-blown reporter. Maybe I will do some groundwork and full-blown interviews on the street with politicians and what have you. I would like that. I don't have a problem with that. I hope that someday maybe I can end up on a newscast or something to speak my truth and what have you. I'm with it. Totally with it. So we'll see. But yeah, that was a good clip. That was whoo. Oh yeah. Moving forward. I think this will be our last topic too. The Jeffrey Epstein list has been unsealed. A lot of people didn't hear that though. You're not going to catch too much of that. I think that was a little blip in the radar, and they were like, I think the truth is coming. It's going to be a wave that's just going to be too much to ignore anymore. It's going to be a tsunami when it comes crashing in. And who knows, maybe it'll just completely change the world. It does in my book and in my head and in my thoughts. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, take a listen.
I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
And this is why I do this. This is why. I know the Empire is real. I know the Matrix is real. And for me, I'm on Team Rebel Alliance. I am Neo. I am Neo, trying to rip people out of the Matrix. So let's go, Jedis. Our time is now. It's time to fight. Get up, and let's do the work. And if any of this stuff has upset you, good. Maybe you should get a little triggered. Maybe you need to start looking inward and being like, why is this stuff upsetting me? Maybe because you've been ignorant. Maybe because you've been lied to. I would be upset too. But as Morpheus says in The Matrix, most people aren't ready to be woken up. They don't want to. They want to live their comfortable lives. They just want to be left alone, unbothered, leave me alone, let me be in my little bubble. And that's fine too. That's okay. But for me, I got work to do. I'm going to do it. and I'm going to keep at it. So with that said, thank you all so very much for the people who do support me, who do share and believe in my vision, for people who do come to my studio and support our business. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are the people who put the food on the table and make all this beautiful stuff happen. So thank you all so very much. If you like this content, please like, subscribe, share our stuff, share our channel. Whatever you can do, all these little things help greatly. I'll try to get another one out there real soon. Until next time, Valhalla.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die. And these shields, boys. Remember this day, man. For it will be yours for all time.